Hello, my friends. Grim here. I hope you're very well today. And have I got a fun one for you? We are playing 10 land Stompy in Premodern. So, a little while ago, you guys voted in a public poll to play White Weenie from between a choice of three decks: White Weenie, Mono Green Stompy, and Frantic Storm. So, White Weenie won. We've already played that. Green Stompy came in kind of a close second, so I am playing that next. I bet you didn't know, though. I bet you didn't know it would be a 10-land Stompy, because there are far more normal variants of Mono Green Stompy in Premodern, but I was checking out lists and I saw this one and I fell immediately in love. So how the heck does it operate off of 10 lands? Well, first of all, you have to choose the ancient power of the Christopher Rush Forest. That will help you, believe me. And you also have 4 copies of Land Grant, so if you have no land cards in hand, you may reveal your hand. Rather than pay the spell's mana cost, tutor up a forest, put it into your hand, shuffle. So Land Grant helps you, obviously, get there, and theoretically we can operate pretty well off of 1 land, more optimally off of 2. Let's just go line by line and talk about how we get there. We have mana dork elements, we have go tall, go wide, we have a little bit of prison, we've got all kinds of hate. It's going to be really fun. Let's talk about it, and then we'll get into some games. Many of our 1-drops are elves, so watch out for E-Plague and Pernicious Deed as well, for that matter. 4 Llanowar elves, just as a classic mana dork that can turn sideways. If you wanted to split for the purpose of being a little better against Cabal Therapy, you could do 2 and 2 Llanowar and Findhorn, but arguably it is cooler to recruit all of these elves from the same realm. Kyrian Ranger is amazing as a mana dork in a different way, especially when you have such a low land count. Elvish Lyrist as a 2-of is a little bit of a hedge against main deck enchantments. We also do have 2 Naturalize, for what that's worth. Many aggro decks just play 2 Naturalize, it's just kind of how the format is, and Elvish Lyrist gives us additional redundancy here, although it is sadly pretty bad against Engineered Plague, which will often, but not always, be naming elves anyway. And 3 copies of Sky Shroud Elite, a 1/1 that becomes a 2/3 in the face of opposing non-basic lands. Rogue Elephant is very strong. 3/3 for 1 is like an unheard of rate in Premodern, but you do have to sack a forest when it enters. We've also got all kinds of 1-drop pump effects, 4 copies of good old Giant Growth, 2 copies of Seal of Strength, and 4 copies of Rancor. Definitely helps us get over the line. And then it gets a little bit more hateful and a little bit more techy as you get beyond the 1-drops. We've got 4 copies of River Boa. This is really good with Island Walk and Regenerate. Between those 2 effects, it's going to be a little bit more of a card that can solo the opponent. If you make them stumble, and if you go wide and flood them, you can win with anything. But if you need to get one attacker over the line repeatedly, maybe River Boa is your guy. We've got those 2 Naturalize and 3 copies of Winter Orb. This is a card I actually really enjoy playing. It does not see as much play in Premodern as one might expect. Part of that is because some of the decks that it's good against, like, they play Gush, they play Daze, they play ways to reset their lands like that. Another reason is probably all of the aforementioned Naturalize effects flying around in the format. Nevertheless, this is a really, really good fit in our deck for obvious reasons. Beyond that, we have 1 copy of Caller of the Claw as a way to flash in and make some big bodies and rebuild after some trading or a sweeper or something like that. 2 copies of Elephant Guide. It is an aura, giving an enchanted creature +3/+3, and making an elephant if said creature dies. Definitely nice value. And at the top end, we have 4 copies of Bounty of the Hunt, 3 copies of Vine Dryad. These are potentially free castable spells, so they're both at the top and the bottom of our curve at the same time. The cost is steep to cast them for free. You have to exile a green card in both cases, but Bounty of the Hunt is a temporary Giant Growth that can be distributed between 1 and 3 creatures, and Vine Dryad is a 1/3 with Flash and Forest Walk. Fascinating stuff. In the side, we've got 2 more copies of Naturalize for the full 4 in the 75. We've got a Singleton Fog and 3 Tormod's Crypts. The only change I made is I swapped out Fog number 2 for Crypt number 3. I think that just ups the power level overall. And as good as Fog is, and as fun as it is, it's probably It's just, I mean, I get it. It's when you're racing and it's against decks that do all their damage on one turn and stuff like that. However, even when it's good, drawing multiples might be bad, whereas you definitely just want more copies of Tormod's Crypt when that matchup is good. And I'm a big Phyrexian Furnace respecter, but our deck demands that we just go fast and we go free whenever possible, so it's Crypt over Furnace. And whoever made this list is a world-class hater, because over here in the second column, it's all of the stuff that hates out blue decks. Now, it hates out other things too, but mainly blue is in the bullseye here as far as we can tell. 3 Rushwood Legate. If an opponent controls an island and you control a forest, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost. Otherwise, it is a 2-1 for 3. Not a very good rate, but when it's a 2-1 for 0 in our deck, that's pretty good. 2 copies of Choke. Again, same energy as Winter Orb. Powerful card, very powerful hoser. Maybe not as powerful as it would otherwise be without all the gushes and days in that color, but still a nice one. And then 4 copies of Hidden Gibbons. This is the sideboard all-star as far as I'm concerned. When an opponent casts an instant spell, if this permanent is an enchantment, it becomes a 4/4 ape creature. How good is that in our deck? So against burn, as well as blue decks and all kinds of other stuff, we're going to be bringing this guy in. Let's have some fun. Let's, I don't know how good it's going to be. I know it's going to be fun. I know it's going to be a little janky. I'm going to try to win a few games, though, and we're going to see what this 10-land Stompy deck can do. Thank you so much for joining me, and let's get right into it. No land mulligan, back we go. This one we'll keep. And surely in the blind, we just bottom one of our 2 naturalizes. Okay, so opponent on a full grip. What are they going to show us here? Swamp. Winter Orb, yeah. I like it. I like it in the spot quite a bit. Tainted Field. Alright. Potentially black-white control. Kyrian Ranger, eh? Alright, so we do the fun little mini go-off here. We play River Boa. And against black-white control, I do not think we hold up regen, because they're on probably either Plow or Smother if they have a kill spell. Or, they could untap and Vindicate, but I don't think we play scared of that. I think with Winter Orb, and yeah, there's the Plow. They Plow Lanny, okay. But I think with the Winter Orb down, we just want to be as aggressive as possible. Okay, 3rd land, but no Vindicate. Elvish Lyrist, huh? I guess. Untap River Boa, bounce the tapped forest, and I suppose deploy the Lyrist. Hold up regen. In response to a duress, we can Vine Dryad. And then lose our Naturalize. Or, for that matter, in response to a Gerard's Verdict, we can do the same thing. End step. Yes, no, maybe so? No. Alright. Well, they did nothing that turn. Obviously, Wrath of God is a bad one, but they don't have it, they have Duress, so... Free cast Divine Dryad, pitch our Naturalize, theoretically. All of their discard effects are henceforth dead, although, of course, Black-White control can Gerard's Verdict themselves to gain 6 life under the right circumstances, but then they've got Vindicate for our Winter Orb. Got it. Alright, so we've got 4 bodies down. We're doing 5 damage per turn. So I guess if against nothing it's a 3-turn clock, against Wrath of God we pretty much scoop. But they don't have a second white land yet, and they only have 4 cards in hand. I say only. We have none, they have 4. They only have 4, right? I mean, so drawing another Winter Orb would be sick here. Let's do that. Rancor? I'll take that for sure. So, what do we Rancor here? Against Smother and Plow, the Regenerate is really not all that exciting. So I guess I'm just going to Rancor the River Boa. And then we'll untap, reset the board a little bit. Notably, on their turn, if we want to, we can bounce a forest, untap Elvish Lyrist, and then hit an enchantment with their floated mana. And then Tuco Shade. You got it. It's definitely a good one. Into Withered Wretch. Yeah, that's also actually a good one, just as a Grizzly Bear. Alright, so River Boa's got to take it to the house, because we're just drawing a land here. We do have to play that so they don't gain life off of a Gerard's Verdict. And hopefully this is enough. We don't suicide the board to get 1 extra damage in here. And it's worth noting that their Tainted Fields are actually incredible. Compared to what Caves of Koilos would have been doing for them. Under these circumstances. And to that end, with them on Tainted Field, and with them showing Shade and Wretch, I suppose we are against Deadguy Ale, rather than Black-White control. So Wrath of God is actually pretty unlikely here. But they've got something that probably beats us here. Exalted Angel. Bro, come on, we're so close. We're so close. Unbelievable. Oh no. Not like this. Another Rancor. Mm-hmm. That's really good. I almost was gonna shot call that. It's really, really, really good. So they have to... Okay, so if we attack with just River Boa, they can double chump, leave the Exalted Angel alone, and go to 1. So we have to attack out with everything. That means they cannot double jump, and they have to lose their Exalted Angel to River Boa. We'll also get our Rancors back. We get to regenerate. Yeah. I guess this is the play. I just hope they don't have another Exalted Angel, right? Oh. Okay, they're just dead. I don't think they know that the Exalted Angel's ability goes on the stack. Yep. Alright. We get there. Woo! That draw of Rancor was hot. Against Black-White control. Or, Deadguy Ale, pardon me. We probably don't have very much to do. A couple hidden Gibbons might be the order of the day. Maybe even, like, all 4. It's not that they're incredible here. But they do probably do more work than, like, Bounty of the Hunt. Vine Dryad is pretty poor, so I'm going to cut 3 Bounty and 1 Dryad. I mean, I'd love to not really have Giant Growths either or anything like that. I'm not sure we're supposed to play more than 2 Naturalize. I'm not sure that they use the graveyard all that much, so Naturalize and Tormod's Crypt run the risk of being totally dead in the wrong spots. So maybe if there's a game 3, we reach for more of those effects, but for now I'm just leaving the Crypts on the bench. We're going to run with the 2 main deck Naturalize, and we'll see if we can do it again. We've got a fine enough 7. It actually looks really solid and well-rounded. I kind of don't want them to turn 1 Duress against this hand. They're going to know too much, and they're going to take our Hidden Gibbons, or if Naturalize matters, they're going to take that. So no, they go Swamp, they don't go Duress. We go Gibbons mode. It's ape time. Okay, no Gerard's Verdict, thankfully. So we're definitely going to play Sky Shroud Elite. I'm not sure if we're supposed to play Rogue Elephant, but I guess probably we are. We're just condemning the Elephant Guide to rot in the hand for the foreseeable future this way, but goes it so. This is just what our hand does against the, again, Gerard's Verdict deck, against the mid-range deck in general that's more aggressively slanted. I don't think we can afford to be... Okay, Dark Ritual's turning on the Gibbons. So what have you got now? Ritual into Perish? Oh, man. That's lame. Okay. And Gerard's Verdict, bruh. Bruh. Okay, well, I'm gonna give up the ghost here on, well, is that correct? I don't know, man. Maybe we just let it hit. Naturalize and Giant Growth. Keep our 2, like, uncastables in hand. But maybe if they stall here and they have nothing, then there's a world in which we can, like, draw some lands or land grants, find Dryad, get the Elephant Guide on it, and start rebuilding. But yeah. Needless to say, that was totally awful. So well done to the opponent for going Ritual first to turn on our monkeys. So that was like a 4 for 2, because they did have to spend a card to do it. So I was going to say it's a 3 for 2, but remember, our Rogue Elephant destroyed one of our forests, so overall it is a 4 for 2. Alright, we've got a Seal of Strength. The rebuild is on. Okay, Exalted Angel morphed. Oh boy. I'm gonna do nothing, because... Yeah, alright, we draw Sky Shroud Elite. I actually think... So, the only way we win this game is if they just, like, think we're stuck and they blind attack with the Angel, and we're able to, like, punk them with Vine Dryad and Seal of Strength. I think that's the only way we win this game. Obviously, they have to not have a white land here. They have a black land. Alright, attack, attack, attack. Yes, okay. We have a chance. Vine Dryad, exiling Elephant Guide. Go to blocks. Okay. Seal of Strength. Woo! Exciting. Now it's time to hopefully get there with a 1-3 and a 1-1 against the Perish. Swords to Plowshares deck. Exalted Angel deck that's at 19 life. But hey. Win or lose, we did some cool stuff, and so did they. So this has been a fun game too. Alright, another Verdict will take care of our River Boa. We draw Elephant Guide. Yeah, not good right now. A good card in the matchup, not good right now. And even though Rogue Elephant has been, you know, that was bad to lose the forest, it's not like it's really mattered since that happened. Alright, they're on double white now. They've got another Parish. Come on. Come on. Like, our deck can't really... Is it really fair to use that against 10-land Stompy? Are we for real? Alright, Elvish Lyrist, pass to you. So I guess we are afraid of another Exalted Angel above anything, and that's what they have. Man, they had an incredible draw. Alright, we're dead to that. Incredible draw. Double Exalted Angel, double Gerard's Verdict, double Parish. Okay. And kind of the perfect curve out, almost with lands. They, of course, missed the double white early on. Anyway, I don't see anything else. I'm just going to run it back. It's possible I should be playing those 2-1s for 3 instead of Naturalize. I don't know. I think they probably play Engineered Plague, so I'm going to leave a couple in. This hand is real goofy because it's only got Rogue Elephant for a threat. That's happening too much to us, but we have to keep it. Alright, opponent. No Parishes and no Exalted Angels this game. Let's play fair. Let's play fair. The good thing about Rogue Elephant is we can kind of try to ride it alone to victory to some degree. We don't necessarily have to play out into a Parish quite so much. Plains. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we might be getting plowed. Yep. Unreal. Okay. Well, goes it so. We shall then go follow up with our Lanny Elves, which we drew for turn, into Land Grant, getting another forest. Next turn, if we don't get Duressed or Gerard's Verdicted, we can put an Elephant Guide on the Llanowar Elves, which is pretty good. Alright, they are definitely representing another kill spell, but our hand really doesn't go anywhere else, so... no Smother or Plow in response, and they don't have it. Alright, good. Of course, we've drawn just pump spells for our hand, which is absolutely terrible. Vindicating the Elephant Guide. You got it. Elvish Lyrist. I guess I'm going to use one of our giant growths and get in for 4. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yeah. Another Parish. Yeah, how did I know? Rough matchup, man. Rough times. I'm glad we got their game 1, though. And we're making them have plenty in the post-side games, but, yeah, their matchup gets a lot better as we have, like, very little to do. We just have Hidden Gibbons, which just dies to Dark Ritual Parish, apparently. Phyrexian Arena. Hey, there's a naturalized target. I knew there'd be some. Lanny Elves is on the stack. Are they deciding on yet another kill spell? That would be very frustrating. We're going to hang on to this Giant Growth. Obviously, against a discard deck, we have an incentive to use it while the coast is relatively clear. But also, we could potentially beat an Exalted Angel by making Sky Shroud Elite a 5/6. And I know we have that already represented with Seal of Strength, but we may need to use that. You know, we may need to fight through multiple such effects. They could have Dystopia, for instance. All right, nothing. Rancor, okay. I guess in this instance I'm gonna... Oh no! Oh, I didn't... no, I didn't want to tap Lanny Elf. I wanted to Rancor the Lanny Elf. So I missed my attack, and I Rancor the wrong thing. Because if they had, like, a plow in a response, of course I wanted them to have to plow the Lanny. Misclick. Okay, well... Rancor resolves. I mean, they just might kind of have nothing here, so that would be cool, I guess. But again, we miss out on 1 point of damage unnecessarily. I'm going for the Giant Growth now. Yeah, they got nothing. Cool. Alright, they're at 6. So we still have Seal of Strength around to, again, batter through Exalted Angel. No second Perish, no Exalted Angel. They have Exalted Angel, don't they? Yep, they do, but we have Seal of Strength. We have Vine Dryad, which is not doing us any favors, but okay. So again, opponent has to block the Sky Shroud Elite, so we might as well get in for another one here. I mean, if they have a plow, we're just dead anyway, so yeah. Okay, 2 carries over, opponent goes to 2, then back up to 6. Alright. Opponent dead on board because of the Phyrexian Arena life loss. What do they have? They have nothing. We get there. Whoa. Winning through some massive hate. At least game 2. Game 3, I guess they only had 1 Perish and 1 Exalted Angel. Apparently we can beat that, just not 2 of each. Good games, well played. Losing the die roll. You hate to see it, but we've got a 1-lander. We love our 1-landers. We're against Swamp Duress. Unfortunate. They get to take their pick between not Giant Growth, obviously. Number 1, because it's the worst card in our hand against an interactive deck, and number 2, because if they have Cabal Therapy, they can then 2-for-1 it, more or less at their leisure. I was going to say they choose between Rancor and Winter Orb. They take the Orb. Thoughtseize Bug, we draw it again, so that could actually be incredibly good. If they don't kill our Lanny Elf, which they don't. So let's just jam Orb and see if this can carry us to victory. Like I said, that's an incredible draw. It's kind of like good, but not backbreaking against a lot of these decks we look like so far we're against Moneyball. But in our case, it's what we've got. I think it's a really solid one. Yep, there's Cabal Therapy, so we'll see if they want to just 2-for-1 us, getting rid of those Giant Growths, or if they care more about a card like Rancor, or indeed Elvish Lyrist if they're on, like, Phyrexian Arena. But nope, Giant Growth it is. Okay. So, Kyrian Ranger lets us go off this turn. I think we're supposed to just kind of, like, dump out our hand here. Untap the Lanny, bounce the forest, replay the forest. So then we have 1, 2, 3 mana. We'll just get the River Boa down. And suit somebody up with Rancor. I guess it is just River Boa. We're going to go shields down on the regenerate because they're a smother deck, right? And smother says can't be regenerated. So that doesn't matter. And their other removal spell is probably Diabolic Edict, which we'll just cash in. That would be an interesting decision here between Ranger and Lanny Elves, but obviously not the River Boa. But River Boa is a credible threat to end the game now over the course of a few turns. We've just got to keep regen up from here on out, obviously, for its attacks and so forth. Winter Orb is going to make their progression's a lot less fluid. So, anybody's game. Anybody's game for sure, but we are doing the 10-land Stompy thing against a pretty good progression so far from Moneyball, where they've got a turn 1 Duress into a 2-for-1 Therapy and a Mishra's Factory to block us. They just cast a Hippie. Hopefully we can play whatever we draw next turn, and he's just kind of a 2-2. Not that big a deal against, again, regen with Rancor. Good combination here. We're going to play Elvish Lyrist just as a 1-1, but we do have the upside of it hitting like their Phyrexian Arena potentially. They're going to Vendetta. Oh. Whoa. Okay, they have main deck Vendetta, which I was not really accounting for, but they don't hit the River Boa? Okay. You got it. I mean, maybe they're right. I don't know what else they have lined up, of course. That's the problem. But maybe they're right, because now they're going to stick something in our hand, and that's unfortunate. So Hippie's going to knock a card out of the hand here. I think it's going to be River Boa number 2 that they knock out. That way we can hold up the regen shield on this one. Does that even matter? Maybe we just play another River Boa. Yeah, I guess we just play another River Boa. It's probably pretty good in the long run. It's just more mana efficient as well. And they're not really, with Winter Orb, they're not really near casting an enchantment that we can think of. Alright, Hippie does the first damage of the game to us, takes care of our Elvish Lyrist. Elephant Guide. That is a really good one against the deck, and it's just stuck in hand, so they are definitely getting rewarded for killing the Lanny Elf with Vendetta. But the Winter Orb is making these factories a lot worse and a lot less free than they would otherwise be. So that's the good news for us. We might as well untap. It doesn't really do anything here. It's just good practice. They are down to 9. But can they beat our Rankered Riverboa? Not sure they can. Forest is, it's okay, I guess. Just makes the regen good, so, and doesn't get beat by Hippie. No blocks. Alright, opponent down to 3. Let's go. Let's go. What do they have main deck that gets them out of this? I'm not sure. Do we get their G1 against Moneyball? They're definitely flooded. That's, So even in the face of their flood, the Winter Orb has put in some work for us. Alright, we get there. Game 1, let's go. So against what will surely be Engineered Plague, in addition to other things like Phyrexian Arena and Mishra's Factory, we will probably play the full 4 Naturalize. It doesn't really feel good to be on those, you know, kind of reactive cards that deviate from our specific game plan against the mid-range deck. That's one of the reasons I like Moneyball, is it kind of like, opponents can bring in cards against you, but they're not always going to be good in the right spots. Hidden Gibbons is a fascinating one. We could play anywhere from 0 to 4, I'm really not sure about that, but we're not going to play Fog, Choke, Tormod's Crypt, or Rushwood Legate. So, Hidden Gibbons, we know they're on Vendetta. We have to assume they're on Smothers and stuff like that as well. Potentially a card like Contagion. So, Hidden Gibbons could kind of sit there and not do much. It could die to Powder Keg if they are on that. On the other hand, it is probably better than Pump Spells against this deck, right? So, we want to cut some... I think Bounty of the Hunt is probably the worst. And then Vine Dryad's pretty bad. So we cut 1 Dryad, all the bounties, and then our final cut should probably either be the second of the 3rd Dryads, or maybe like a Giant Growth. Just get rid of a Giant Growth. Alright, interesting. Alright, we've got the Gibbons, and it's a 1-lander. Easy keep. We have just a Rogue Elephant as our only threat, though, which is terrible. They're on Curse Scroll, huh? Alright, well, we're gonna get the Hidden Gibbons down. Now that we've drawn a second land, Rogue Elephant is a lot less bad. It's still pretty bad against this particular kill spell deck, but what are you gonna do? Spawning Pool, huh? Alright, the 3rd land. Nice. Seems good. Okay, Rogue Elephant, sack a land. Would love to have a not... Any proactive threat that did not make us do that, because then being able to cast an Elephant Guide on something next turn would be incredible. We've got way too many pump spells on our hand for our own good as well as part of this progression, but hey. Land Grant, huh? At least Rogue Elephant does not die to Curse Scroll. So they can just block with Spawning Pool here. Yeah, that card's really good against us. Whoop, turn off auto... Oh, dang. I accidentally clicked through the turn. I should have just played out a Seal of Strength. Should have just played out a Seal of Strength. And I was going to say, sometimes I think you want to use Land Grant on a turn like that, just so you're not revealing an additional card next turn. But against the Cabal Therapy deck, I think we don't use the Land Grant most of the time until the turn we're going to cast it. Yeah, so I missed the misclicked through the second main phase. No Seal of Strength for us. That doesn't seem to really matter. Opponent getting stuck on 3 lands here would be pretty good for us, because then their Curse Scroll is just doing nothing. Their spawning pool gets a lot worse. They have to blind name an Engineered Plague. Oh man, how do we not have one of our 4 Naturalizes in hand? They shrink the Elephant. Uh-oh, it's in Curse Scroll territory now. Got it. Little do they know we have an Elephant Guide, and we have an Elvish Lyrist? Oh boy. That's sick. Okay. I think that's good enough at beating Plague that we have to... The problem is with Land Grant, we're revealing our hand, but we definitely have to use that. Yeah, tough one. So Forest, and then do we go Elephant Guide? Or do we go Elvish Lyrist, Seal of Strength, hold up Giant Growth? Yeah, it's gotta be Elvish Lyrist. Does it? I'm not sure. I'm gonna feel really sad if the Elephant Guide now gets taken away by a Cabal Therapy. We've got a lot going on here, though, don't we? Our board looks impressive, but, you know, again, it's like Seals of Strength and Giant Growth, which are of questionable value. There was an argument for me while they were tapped out of removal to just smash in for an additional 9 damage there, cash in the Growth and all the seals. I don't feel comfortable doing that, because I know that this deck can present like a Graveborn Muse and Masticore and cards like that we do need to attack through. But it would have been funny. It would have been funny to smash them for 11 that turn while getting shrunk by the Engineered Plague. They do have land number 4. And so, like, whatever they do this turn, we have so many good draws. Naturalize is fine. We drew the Elvish Lyrist, so it's not as desirable as it would otherwise be. Winter Orb would play really well here with us ahead on board. And then in general, we've just got a lot of good stuff post side. Alright, they're tapping low. Okay. Engineered Plague taking care of Elvish Lyrist, huh? Oh no, they're shrinking they're shrinking the elephant again? Is that for real? Well, we're just gonna... Yeah. I don't know, maybe... Yeah. If we had drawn another land, we could go... Well, we can't, so whatever. Let's cast a Hidden Gibbons. Let's take care of one of these plagues, I guess. I'm going to use 1 Seal of Strength here. Just 1. We're hanging on to the Giant Growth, which you might think against a discard deck it would be better to spend the Giant Growth and keep the seals around, and I think in general that is correct. But they could be on one of Funeral Charm, and they certainly are on Ravenous Rats, I imagine. So holding the Growth to protect the Elephant Guide is what I'm doing there. Now, if they Funeral Charm, we do turn on our double apes. So, I mean, I suppose that would be acceptable. Oh, man. We're making them sweat here. You know, if nothing else, we're making them sweat. Dystopia? Yeah. Okay. A very good one against us, but it does not seem like it's probably going to be enough here. So we're just going to cash in the Seal of Strength. Or do we cash in one of the hidden Gibbons, actually? I'm gonna split the difference. This might prove to be wrong, but we do have 2 on here, so I'm gonna cash in a hidden Gibbons. We draw another elephant guide. That seems pretty good. So now we should be swinging in for 5 here. I don't know. Yeah, okay. And as tempting as it is to make it 8, I think we're just going to keep the Seal of Strength around as Dystopia fodder. I could definitely be wrong about that. It's just impossible to know which is better without knowing what's in their hand. And we could, furthermore, just plan to cash in hidden Gibbons, right? But they're probably not beating us without casting something, some instant, like a Diabolic Edict or a Smother or a Vendetta. And we just want the Dystopia, of course, to lose them as much life as possible here. Alright, time to cash in Seal of Strength, I believe. Vine Dryad, huh? I've never been so lucky as to cast... I think that was my first time ever casting Elephant Guide, much less 2. I assume they stack, right? I gotta assume they stack. Well, there's no way they're probably just going to block here with Spawning Pool. So let's see what they do. Right. Alright, I guess we just cast another Elephant Guide. I don't really know how these work together. I assume we make 2 tokens if it dies, so it's kind of an interesting consideration. Do we sack Rogue Elephant itself to Dystopia next turn? Do we also flash in Vine Dryad on the end step? So much to consider, but they do keep the Dystopia. Six cards in hand, now 5 because they make a land drop, okay? You know, I think I'm just going to lose one of the enchantments here. I think that's fine. Naturalize seems good, too. We've got our choice of targets here, of course. Spawning Pool, by the way, so much better here for them than Mishra's Factory. They would have been dead a long time ago to Factory, including to our Naturalize right now. So we'll just make them pay for Dystopia here. or not, as the case may be. They might let it go. No, they pay for it. Okay, I mean, sure. So at this point, again, I think we have to keep the hidden gibbons around. I might flash in Vine Dryad on the end step here. Let's naturalize the Engineered Plague. And then I mean, as bad as it is on value, I think we're going to flash in Vine Dryad and then sack it. I mean, if at any point we had found a Rancor, this would have been over a long time ago as well. Alright, down goes Vine Dryad. This is such an interesting game. Okay, Kyrian Ranger, sure. Not very good. They do get a crack at a free kill on it with Curse Scroll, but I guess we are supposed to play it. Because they could... Well, first of all, because they're at 2, so playing any goofy 1-1 is, it definitely counts as pressure here. And secondly, because they could have another Dystopia rolled up, right? Turn off. And just for good practice, we'll reset our elephant, we'll reset our forest, doesn't really matter. Right now. One thing that's funny about this deck is that it's so... it's got so much unusual stuff going on that opponents do play a little slow against it, I've noticed. I mean, that's no shade on the opponent by any means. This is like everybody. Everybody's like stopping to read the cards like a lot. So as much as it's a 10-land Stompy, gotta go fast deck. Alright. Let's see what they name, let's see what they reveal, because there's just no way. There's no way they hit. Oh no, they hit with a Funeral Charm. That's a disaster. So they use an instant for a kill spell without turning on our hidden gibbons. Alright. Yeah, that was actually horrible for us. There isn't our yep. I mean, maybe I should have hit the Curse Scroll, but I'm thinking if we... it literally was a non-factor. That was the first time they've activated. They have found a ton of lands, though, making it a lot more live than it would otherwise have been. Another Kyrian Ranger. Bruh. Alright, that one we're not going to play, I guess. We got spooked. We got spooked by the scroll. I think that was obviously a lucky hit. It's not like they have 4 Funeral Charms in their hand or something like that, right? But maybe we'll at least try and wait to double spell or something like this, or maybe we draw a discard spell this way. Alright. They are scrolling the elephant? Spinning Darkness? Ooh. Aha. I see. I see. Nantuko Shade. Scary one. Come on, deck. Give us a rancor here. Winter Orb. Well, that's good against Shade, isn't it? And it's good against Spawning Pool. And it makes us totally fine playing Kyrian Ranger here. So what happens if we attack? If we attack, they can, like, Shade plus Spinning Darkness to kill our elephant. Then we get a Hidden Gibbons and we get another elephant token, so is that good? But then they gain 3 life. Alright, I'm gonna say go for 1 turn, because, like, with Winter Orb now, I don't think they can answer it with their deck. And besides something like Powder Keg, which would clearly just go on 1 anyway. Winter Orb changes the texture of this game in a major way. Okay, Spinning Darkness. Just on the Kyrian Ranger. Yeah. We get Hidden Gibbons now. I think that's kind of good for us, actually. But it depends on what else they have, for sure. Because now if they have... Now they're just going to, like, unleash all the instants in their hand, maybe. I don't know. It could be that, unfortunately for us, they could have another Spinning Darkness rolled up. That would make some sense there, too. Maybe. I don't know. This is becoming a real grind. So I don't know if this is going to be, the games with this deck tend to be either really long or really short, which is, you know, kind of cool. River Boa. All right. You know, I've gotta figure the stalemate favors us. So I'm chilling for a while here. Okay, Funeral Charm. Yeah, that sucks. Not the end of the world, though. Again, like, we have so... Oh, the rack? Whoa. What? What? That's not cool. We're just gonna draw and actualize. It's gonna be fine, but that's not cool. Hey, you know what? The stalemate, I'm afraid, no longer favors us, does it? Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Okay. Well, no time like the present. Let's just send. Let's just send. I don't know what else they have, so this could be bad, but, like, we are in major trouble with the rack. It's impossible to overstate how much trouble we're in. I didn't think I didn't think we were, honestly, against the rack. It seemed more like Moneyball in Game 1. And it's possible that this is kind of like in a meeting point between the two. The spawning pool is like my biggest signal that this is not the rack. I mean, this is just a very un-rack-like card compared to how well it can suit Moneyball. But I'm also just kind of like, I'm just kind of over the grind here. I'm over it, you know? So we'll make him sweat it. We'll make him figure out. I attack, you block, right? That's that's the new game. And with a card in hand, they don't know if we're chilling on a giant growth. But we made it through over 1/3 of the deck with no Rancor, which, as I keep saying, would have ended the game a very long time ago. Alright, it could be that they're going to chump and regen the elephant with Spawning Pool, and then double block the gibbons with Shade and Factory. Obviously, if they have any kind of a kill spell in hand that gets more complicated, they can also grow the Shade to a nice big total. But that is very bad against Winter Orb, and it's very risky against a giant growth. So I'm not sure they're going to do it. But the Shade with four black lands open, it can become a 6/5 and just take care of the gibbons. They can chump block with Factory. It could be an attack that loses us the game. But again, against the rack, I think we just go for it. Again, my thinking with the stall beforehand was... Oh, okay. Yeah, do they have a kill spell here? Do they have a kill spell? Okay. No effects. This block is a little more surprising because we are going to get the 3/3 elephant out of the deal here. And they're going to be fully tapped by the Winter Orb. We get to follow up with a Lanny Elf as well. And they have to make this final pump, otherwise I kill both of their things. Alright, do we kill Factory or do we kill Shade here? Fascinating decision. I think you can make a really good argument for either. I think I might kill Factory, though. Is that correct? I mean, they're at 1. They're going to be at 1. Now, we'll kill the Shade. So we get the elephant, we play a Llanowar Elf, which is lethal, and now opponent concedes. Alright, that was quite the grind. The rack scared us at the end, but we get over the line against Moneyball/rack, hybrid mashup, who knows. Against mono black midrange, we do the thing. Alright, we are keeping. Definitely a nice looking keep. Our biggest question here is whether we land grant now or whether we hold it. And I think we want to hold it in this particular case, at the risk of losing it to duress, like I think I want to be all in on Winter Orb against most decks with this hand. Goblin Lackey. Okay. That does change some things, potentially, but if we can just make, like, a Rogue Elephant this turn, a second land would have been good. Alright, so... the jig is up. Land grant for a forest. Play it. And I think just Winter Orb is fine here, and then we trade with Kyrian Ranger if they attack. Take it from there. That's pretty bad, though. But, like, we can't double spell. And... yeah. Sorry if you can hear one of my kids going berserk in the background. I'm a little distracted by that right now. But I think we're supposed to do this, and obviously the Nightmare is land into Gem Palm. But if they have not that, then I think we're going to be in a pretty alright position. Yeah, drawing a bunch of 2-drops is definitely unfortunate here. I guess we just play the Rogue Elephant. But yeah, we don't quite have the Winter Orb appropriate hand. Oh, they just have Naturalize anyway. Yikes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a rough one. It's probably a, yeah, Matron or War Chief, and it is Matron. For War Chief. Ha, it is both. It is one and the same. Yeah, this is a little frustrating. I don't think our keep and our sequencing gets punished like this most of the time. We have a deck completely full of 1-drops. But now we're just back on blocking duty, trying to draw a second land or a land grant. We draw a 3-drop. Okay. That's embarrassing. A little embarrassing. You hate to see it. Pile driver. Pile driver. We're going to go ahead and give up the ghost on this one. Let's just not show them anymore. I think our matchup here is actually probably okay, but we don't have anything to do in the side except maybe a 1 of Fog. And even the Fog is a little sketch. But is anything better than, like, yeah... None of our sideboard cards really line up, so I'll just cut a Naturalize for the Fog. We have the other Naturalize for potentially no particular reason, but you never know what they could bring in. So I guess rather than playing a 2-1 for 3 in its place, we'll just leave that as is. Alright, I guess we're going to keep a 4-lander. That is a ridiculous hand in the context of a 10-land deck. However, it does make our Rogue Elephant a lot better. Opponent's going to mull to 5. Yeah, we'll still play Lanny. I was going to say, with them mulling to 5, do we lead on Rogue Elephant? And just try to get him dead. I don't really... I guess not. I guess we still don't. The Vine Dryad and Bounty of the Hunt are some awkward ones. Where is our, like, good pressure? Where is our good pressure? Maybe it's just a Rogue Elephant is a good pressure, and that's going to be sufficient. We shall see. Pile Driver, yes. Okay. Message received, sir. Seal of Strength, okay. It's elephant time. I mean, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take this block. Oops. Gem Palm, alright, we're all in. Bounty of the Hunt. This is hilariously bad value-wise, but we get him. And it's all to save a Lanny Elf, but really it's all just to kill a Goblin Pile Driver. Pyrokinesis! Oh my god. Dude, absolutely. Absolutely amazing. That one is a legendary, absolutely legendary moment. I think we lose now. I think we lose really, really bad. That's quite a lot for the opponent to have on a Multi 5. You know what? You got us. That is good game. Well played. We've lost the die roll, so I'm pretty sure we should just go to game 2. Nah, I'm just kidding. We've got a one lander, which is the perfect hand if it's just got one land in it. Uh-oh, opponent on Birds of Paradise. Okay. We do have the ability to flash in Vine Dryad. I don't think that's correct. We probably don't really want to be facing a Birds of Paradise deck, but the fact that they opened off Gemstone Mine is definitely is definitely a plus. Not only because Mine is, in general, obviously pretty bad as your turn 1 play. If you're playing Birds of Paradise, you're probably planning to repeatedly also activate your lands, right? So that seems a little bad for the opponent, and we also get to make it 2-3 for 1. That's really, really solid. Our best draw, assuming no removal is involved, might be, I don't know, Kyrian Ranger, in order to make this forest good. Ooh, opponent's gonna Cabal Therapy. Okay. They're gonna be very much impressing me if they name anything in our hand. They name Rancor? Well done, opponent. Well done. Alright, you love to see that one. Not really, because Rancor getting beat by discard or permission stinks. This card is incredible in our deck. It's one of the reasons the deck functions, in my opinion. Opponent also, for what it's worth, can flash back Birds of Paradise, so I expected them to whiff on the hardcast Cabal Therapy and then potentially, tap the bird for something else, then flash it back. Sadly, they're going to get to have their cake and eat it here, too. Another bird. Interesting. But still not flashing back, huh? Okay. Vine Dryad for pressure is really not a bad idea here. We're against Cabal Therapy, so I think going a little faster makes some sense. I'm going to flash it in, getting rid of Giant Growth. And obviously we're going to try to draw a second land. We don't. But we can at least play the Seal of Strength. And then start pressuring. Yeah, another uncastable is kind of rough here, to say the least. An opponent might be on some kind of, 5-color, you know, 4 or 5-color soup over there with Gemstone Mine, Reflecting Pool, and Birds of Paradise. So not knowing really at all what we could be facing in terms of bigger creatures, I'm not cashing in the seal just for a little early damage. Okay, Survival of the Fittest. That's really bad. That's really bad for us. Whatever they're up to, they can now get there. Battlefield Scrounger for Squee. The value engine is online. All right, land. Let's give us a land. We'll jam. Still probably Winter Orb. Not very good in the face of birds. Now just we get another Sky Shroud Elite, which is not the worst, but all right, so our pressure is about a medium here. By our deck standards, we are doing okay, but not great. It is very unlikely, in my opinion, that from here we beat this Survival of the Fittest. But we can just see a little bit more about their deck. Volrath, Shapeshifter. Okay, so definitely we're in combo territory. I won't pretend to know the ins and outs of what a Shapeshifter deck can do. This might be a little bit of a toolbox deck, where they can do a wide variety of things. As far as I know, Shapeshifter can copy Triskelion. I have seen that. And I'm sure it can do some other things as well. Even the draw of Naturalize is kind of, I mean, we need the other land before we can even hope to resolve it. Devourer, right, okay, so Shapeshifter Devourer is a thing as well. So, yeah, they probably have multiple different combos. They probably have Phyrexian, or, Altar of Dementia in order to combo with Devourer. And they probably have, as mentioned, the Triskelion as well. So Devourer hits the bin. There's the Triskelion. Okay. Alright, we're going to let them do their thing here. See as much more of the deck as we can. We're seeing more survivals, more dorks, and more rainbow lands. We do also see Wall of Roots on Earth. Meddling Mage. Whoa, okay. Interesting. Palancron? I am out of my depth here, guys. I'm still getting back into Premodern. How can you do this to me? Okay, Duress is good to know about. Achroma? Yep, that seems like a good one to shapeshift into. Alright, so now the Triskelion pings us dead. Alright, so we know a fair amount now about their deck, right? We know enough to know that we want the Tormod's Crypts, the Naturalizes. We did not see any instants there, as far as I remember. They're operating at, their activated abilities are at instant speed, but we saw, like, duress in creatures and enchantments and stuff, right? So, yeah, and we saw too many rainbow lands for Choke and Rushwood Legate to be good. It's not that they definitely don't play islands, but that's not the That's not the game, right? So Crypt and Naturalize will have to cut it for sideboard tech. I do think Winter Orb is probably still good here. That's not clear against Birds of Paradise. So I will consider trimming between 1 and 2, but it could definitely get them with a lot of their sequences as well. So what don't we like? I think we're just trying to find our hate pieces and otherwise erase them. So things that are a little more value-oriented and slower, maybe like Elephant Guide and Collar of the Claw could go. That's risky, siding out that stuff against, they're going to get more interactive. So, not sure that's completely correct, but we'll go with it. Let's get rid of just a single giant growth. I'd rather leave in Seals of Strength if we're trimming that type of stuff against a discard deck, I guess. And we'll cut 1 Winter Orb. I think this is fine. We'll see how it does. Okay, no lander and no land grant. Mulligan. This is a fine keep. What do we put back? We put back either a forest or land grant. And I guess we might as well just put back land grant so we don't have to reveal our hand. And so we don't potentially lose it to duress before we can. I guess that is the move here. So speaking of not losing it to duress, let's go Tormod's Crypt turn 1. Forest Laniels, back to you. Okay, I mean, you look at our hand and it's a little barren. We do have the Rogue Elephant, we do have a Giant Growth, we have nothing else besides that second land. We'll hope it can get there. This is just kind of what the deck does. We might need an unfair thing, like a Winter Orb or something, but then again, they go birds, and we have a second Tormod's Crypt, so we're gonna really make him fight through the graveyard hate, if nothing else. Kind of funny. And again, while there are some things we might play around, I don't know what they play. I mean, they're just a soup deck, they could play anything. They probably don't play Powder Keg, but for instance, against Powder Keg, we would want to hold 1 crypt. But again, with them on discard, I don't think we can afford to, and I think it's a lot likelier that they have like a random Naturalize or, Uktabi Orangutan, something like this. Wall of Roots into Survival, yeah, that's an incredible turn 2 for them. Jeez. Alright, so do we... Yeah, we attack, and I think we Giant Growth to kill the Wall of Roots, just because, we have to force damage through, and that's going to be a really good blocker against us. This is where something like Rancor would be way better, but we have what we have. Alright. Wall of Roots already did its job for them, for sure, but now we get to cast a land grant, revealing nothing in our hand. Let's go. Okay. Opponent's still all the way up at 17 with Survival Online, so we need to draw a Naturalize. Or an Elvish Lyrist. Naturalize would just be quicker. Unearthing the Wall of Roots. It's a disaster. I'm not going to compete over that with Tormod's Crypt, obviously. Well, I mean, I guess I could have, but there's just no way that's correct against the combo deck, right? Oh, man. We spent our Giant Growth for this, and they cycle another Unearth. Okay. Okay. River Boa. Hey, you know what? We'll take it. Any threat is a welcome threat. Am I right? Okay. Opponent making a lot of land drops over there and not doing much with survival in the face of our crypts. Land is such a bad draw here, dude. We only have 10 lands in the deck. And we've drawn 4 of them plus a land grant in the top 10 or 11 cards. Yeah, we're definitely a little unlucky with that. Then again, I mean, maybe double crypt plus a little dummy aggro is good enough. Let's see what they've got cooking this turn. They're gonna be feeling the heat with our rogue elephant breathing down their necks, you know? When are trees like grass from the 1,000 questions? You love to see it. Okay, so Scrounger gets cycled away, which is kind of interesting because it is hard castable and good. Like a 3/3 with an activated ability is good against us. They go get Triskelion, or they're just hard casting a Triskelion, which is also good. Really good. Bye-bye, Lannies. Alright, I mean, we just kind of have to, like, play into the Triskelion here. Who's going to be really good value for them, but... Alright, Rogue Elephant attack. I guess we show that land. We have multiple regeneration shields that way. And the Sky Shroud Elite is live. Yeah, opponent definitely flooding. So are we. Another forest? Dude. Now that is a tilt, actually. This deck is super fun, but it cannot afford to draw all these lands. I mean, that's why it's 10 land Stompy, dude. Anyway, we'll hold that one. But hey, you know, if both players keep flooding, we're gonna get there. Devourer is getting cycled away. As always, the old bordered and especially monocolored aesthetics of Premodern are on absolute point. All right, that's what we called earlier an Uktabi orangutan. Makes a lot of sense, unfortunately. So one crypt is going to get God, and we'll obviously cash it in response to the triggered ability. Left or right? Left or right? Which one do you choose? Okay. All right, they've got one crypt down, one to go. You hate to see that. And as long as Triskelion's a natural 3/3, there's not really any point attacking. with anything else. My kingdom for an island, right, on the other side. Now, they've definitely got to be a little spooked here about, like, double giant growth or similar effects. They just let it through? Okay, wish I had them. And here I will play the Lanny Elf just to be mana efficient, and also because if Triskelion pings it, that does make the Sky Shroud Elite and River Boa attacks both live. And the opponent's now down to 5, so we are closing in. The walls are closing in on you. Can you feel it? Oh, boy. Another River Boa. Alright. Alright. Seems potentially good, I guess. So there's been no Triskelion ping. So we just serve again with the Rogue Elephant. Plow. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. With that, the opponent is pretty firmly in control here. It's not that we can't get there, because we still 100% can. Cabal Therapy. Nice. So they go land into Cabal Therapy. We're rewarded for holding the forest. I thought about playing it again, regeneration, but yeah, and they name Giant Growth. Cool. Yep, that's a fine name there, but all right. So opponent's Flood gives us a real opportunity here. Naturalize. Cool. What a draw. All right. Honestly, I think we just hit the Triskelion. It's terrible value. But we can't beat it with our board. So they're going to get to ping a bunch in response. We're going to get to regenerate our boas if they go for that. Alright, they just don't use the last ping, huh? Okay. Alright, the River Boa gets through. Not even island walking, just a natural clean attack. We've got 2 regeneration shields up. And we win a game. We won a game. Let's freaking go, dude. Alright, I don't think we change anything. Collar of the Claw is not actually the worst if the games are going a little longer and everything like that. But it might just be too slow to be realistically good. Is it better than, like, one of these Bounties of the Hunt or something? I mean, I don't know. Sure. Sure. Why not? I don't know if that's correct, but we'll hedge. Yeah, that was a sweet one. It was definitely clunky and awkward, and it needed the opponent to flood, but we mulliganed, I think, and then we flooded badly, and we still managed to stagger over the line. This is a weird hand, but I've got to keep it, because it's got lands and spells, and it's got Tormod's Crypt. Elvish Spirit Guide for turn 1 survival? Oh, boy. Oh, it's on. It's well and truly on. Speaking of it being on, we have to go turn 1 Rogue Elephant, sack our forest. But Rogue Elephant with a Rancor is looking like a really sweet clock if we can if we can get there with it. We've got all kinds of pump effects, too. So no just, like, kill spell or bounce spell, right? I don't think I'm supposed to compete over the squee value. Uktabi, well, we're going to have no choice. They're going to Uktabi Orangutan, the crypt. Alright, so let's see what our turn looks like. Lanny Elves seems actually pretty good. I think that is worth playing, rather than going Rancor this turn. Okay, so on their upkeep, Squee will return. I guess we're gonna let them have that value. We're gonna make them show us the third land, I guess? Are we? Alright, Lanny Elves. I mean, I'm sure they have the third land rolled up. And honestly, like, they've only got 4 cards in hand. Let's just take care of the Squee now. We know the Crypt is going down next turn. They're just going to go land Uktabi, and then we just miss the Squee, most certainly. And then we'll land Grant to go get another Forest. And we'll pass the turn. They know all about our 3 pump effects in hand now. This deck is so goofy, I love it. Alright. Now, the nightmare here is that they didn't have the third land. Okay, they do. It's also a little bit of a nightmare if they have another Squee. I don't know if this deck plays multiple Squees. If so, you know, them having both off of a turn 1 survival would be pretty rough. But hopefully we just made the Uktabi Orangutan kind of bad. Of course, Grey Ogre is actually good against our deck, but they cycle it away. Let's go. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh my god. Man, this is fun. This is a good old-fashioned match of magic. But then they're probably going to combo kill us with Volrath Shapeshifter. But details, right? Sky Shroud Elite, okay. Okay, man, we're getting after it here. Yeah, again, at the risk of like a bounce or a kill spell or something devastating, I do think we just Rancor the Rogue Elephant. We go for our highest upside here. And speaking of highest upside, we are just getting every point of damage across now that we've drawn Sky Shroud Elite, which is a good attacker here. 2-3 for 1. So opponents at 11. We do have them dead next turn without them having anything. Obviously, we're sure they do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Triskelion. If they can put together Triskelion and Shapeshifter and everything, then we are dead. But I'll take this loss on the chin, you know? Like, we did win a game, and we are in what I think is probably quite a tough matchup. And we really made them have, you know, I don't know if it qualifies as a nut draw or anything here in Game 3, but it's a very, very good draw. Turn 1 survival, natural Squee. But they've got Karmic Guide. Interesting. That's good value. And also, I suppose, a combo enabler as well. Shapeshifter, Karmic Guide. Yeah, that's completely insane. So they have... So they do have to pay Echo even though they didn't cast it. That's worth remembering. Then they're going to activate Survival for a Chroma. All right. I think we're beaten. I think we're well and truly beaten by that insane value turn. So it's not a combo kill strictly, but they did combo off on us big time. I guess we'll take a draw step, but like we're just not recovering from this, especially with their vigilance here. All right, good stuff. Good stuff from OP. Yep, Ping and Lanny. Makes a lot of sense. Not going to compete over that by emptying my hand with Bounty of the Hunt. And yeah, we're just done to the Achroma. I guess if we'd drawn a Crypt this turn, then maybe. But yeah, even so, very hard to see us recovering from that, especially because opponents got 3 in hand and that Survival still on field. So we almost got there. 3 quite different games. We do lose the match, but those were fun against, once again, I think a really tough matchup. All right, it is a keeper. We get to go land Lanny Elf. I think I'm going to cast a Land Grant in the blind and reveal things rather than wait until next turn. This way we guarantee it hits. Again, if you're against like Cabal Therapy, it's a lot worse. If you're against other things, it's better. We'll see how we go here. Opponent goes Mountain Spark Spray. Is this the red-white Rifter deck? Probably. Well, I'm going to play River Boa. This could also die to a Spark Spray, but how many can they really have? And if they take the turn off to play Lightning Rift, then we get to naturalize it. Nope, they have another Spark Spray. Got it. Okay, well, I'm going to go Winter Orb. That's going to be really good against them. So you hate to lose the River Boa that way. And now if they... Okay, yeah, they don't do anything. I was going to say, if they play their thing, we can't naturalize it this turn without a land drop, but whatever. Okay. Kyrian Ranger, I think I'm just going to reset a land right now. And then also play Lanny Elves and hope they don't have some kind of a sweeper here. They have Spark Spray number 3, dude. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. But okay, we carry on, we carry on. Rancor? Yeah, I think we just maybe, like, play a Rogue Elephant and Rancor it. Hope this is good enough. With Naturalize as backup, and again against a Winter Orb. Now, if we lose the Lanny Elf to the Spark Spray number 4, then that's a problem. But yeah, I'm just gonna main phase the Naturalize here. Resolves. 5 to you. Winter Orb's gonna keep them slowed down, and we hope this is good enough. I don't know their deck list all that well. I know the general idea, of course, is to stick Lightning Rift and chip damage the opponent. Oh, Astral Slide. I think the list I've seen this is only a 1 of. But that's definitely really good against Rogue Elephant. Oh my goodness. That's so good against Rogue Elephant. So do we take the turn off of Rancoring to play a River Boa? Or do we just Rancor and swing it for 9? 8? Oh, Astral Slide is a beating. Oh, it's such a beating. Dang. Dang, dang, dang. Let the record state that this could be wrong, but I'm gonna get a River Boa down because I have a feeling we are either gonna kill them next turn with the Rancor and it doesn't matter, or if they have another land drop, which they do, then we could end up kind of like losing the Rogue Elephant to the Blink. But at least this turn we get our 2-drop down. Yeah, Forgotten Cave. That is a good one. That is such a good one right there. Yeah, they need the 1-mana cyclers to do their thing. Alright, I think we have to let Rogue Elephant go. That's a no. Alright, suit up the Riverbow with a Rancor. They surely don't have another cycling land, do they? Oh man, interesting spot. Well, I think maybe they do. So I'm going to play an Elvish Lyrist. We're splitting the difference here. We're doing the Rancor thing, and we're setting up to kill their Astral Slide next turn, hopefully. And again, Winter Orb is making it possible that they can't just answer all of this, hopefully. Alright, so we split the difference, and they did have another 1-mana cycler, so we are rewarded. Another land drop is scary. It's a little scary, but we're getting to untap with Elvish Lyrist. Good. Good, good, good. Alright, I'm just popping this right away. And then we'll cast a Rancor on a River Boa. We've got Vine Dryad can be flashed in end step using Collar of the Claw as fodder, which is possibly a good move. I don't know that that will matter much. They probably either have an out or they don't to what's on board. We got there! Okay, that was a little scary. Triple Spark Spray, they had Lightning Rift, they even had Astral Slide, which was nutty against our board. But we did it. So Hidden Gibbons is interesting because they play a ton of instants, and it'd be really good against their deck, but if they're just cycling, then they can ignore it. Our first order of business is to play the full 4 Naturalize to just hit those things and stop them from cycling. I don't think I'm going to compete over the graveyard so much. I think our pump spells are kind of decent here. Winter Orb was good. I'm actually, like, call me a little crazy, but maybe shying away from Rogue Elephant in the face of Astral Slide is reasonable. I just really don't like the card Bounty of the Hunt that much, so even though this is an okay matchup for it, I'm still going to trim a couple. We have enough, like, real things to do, you know what I mean? So maybe... I'm just gonna edge trim. Pair back on 1 Gibbons, pair back on 1 River Boa. It's just a little clunky. And cut the 3rd of 4 Bounties of the Hunt. We'll see a little bit more, of course, here in Game 2. And if there is a Game 3, we'll potentially adjust accordingly and on the play get a little bit more focused, rather than doing the edge trimming type thing. We do have a Naturalize, and it's a functional hand, so that's got to be a keep. Forgotten Cave. Now we get to play... It's actually unclear. They're probably going to Spark Spray if they have it, either Lyrist or Lanny Elves. I'm going to play a Lyrist, since we have another one in hand. And since they could not end step hit her and then untap and play Lightning Rift, but they just play a Lightning Rift out into her. I'll take that all day. And I don't think we're going to Vine Dryad anytime soon. Unfortunately, we miss the second land drop or land grant that we wanted. Land drop would be way better to conceal these naturalizes. So we just have a bit of an underwhelming turn. But still being able to trade off with a Lightning Rift is great. They go Astral Slide, okay. I'm actually less scared of that right now. So we'll go Lanny Elves this time. Maybe they'll try to, like, slide it on our upkeep and we can naturalize in response. That would be kind of hype. Maybe they just kill it. They Lightning Rift. Uh-oh. Yeah, if they've got a lot of these rolled up, that's trouble. That's big trouble. Yeah, okay. Brutal. Brutal. But if we just draw a forest, or indeed a land grant, we're good. But we don't. So we don't want to play Elvish Lyrist out into the Lightning Rift, of course, so we're just going to play a Hidden Gibbons. They have no need to cast any instants, they'll just be cycling the cards instead. So even though we have a lot of good cards in hand, we haven't found the second land, we're falling kind of behind here. Winter Orb. Yikes, dude. Yikes. Again, fantastic card. Just not able to cast it. So we're going to play Seal of Strength. It might not be the worst idea to Vine Dryad on the end step, but again, you just know they have outs to it, so, and it's only one toughness pressure. So I don't think I'm going to do it. But the longer we do nothing, the more we let them just kind of keep digging, and, like, they might get to up to hardcast Eternal Dragon, something like that we can't really beat. So we need to find the land now. We don't. So frustrating. If we just pass, we're discarding the hand size. If we play out an elf, it just dies to a cantripping cycle removal thingy. So to that end, I am going to main phase Vine Dryad for free. Exile Llanowar Elves. And I'm not even sure we should try the Rancor, because they're just gonna Astral Slide it. So we'll just say go with our 1-3. Alright, the Vine Dryad does not die. I've got another Lightning Rift, okay. Land Grant, hey, alright. Check out our hand. So I think we just have to go Winter Orb here, and then try to naturalize them later. We get 1 damage across, alright. The mission is being accomplished. Maybe. Probably not. I mean, they only got a couple cards in hand. I don't know, I'm still not very optimistic. But hey, we are functional. We are functional. And we're just attacking. We're not going to do anything. We're going to untap to be able to naturalize next turn, I suppose. They're not making any more land drops. It's a little scary, but it's also a little good in its own way. Another Vine Dryad, sure. Decree of Justice. Yeah. Yep. Definitely pretty strong. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. Let's see how heavily they tap out. Alright, Vine Dryad is bounced. They make 2 soldiers. They're pinging us rather than making a soldier, okay. Alright, so they're totally tapped out, meaning they are going to be really hosed for a while by Winter Orb. With that in mind, I almost want to hit the Astral Slide because their cycles are free, whereas these Lightning Rift cycles cost mana. That said, Lightning Rift just beats our deck so badly that I think I'm still supposed to try to naturalize both of these Lightning Rifts and then win from there. It's definitely more of an ambitious play. But I think in the long run it's going to be better. Alright, do we get another Vine Dryad out off of, like, Giant Growth? I don't think so yet. Rogue Elephant, huh? Alright, we'll say go, and now I'm definitely going to make a Vine Dryad if they attack off of Rogue Elephant, because we've committed to destroying the Lightning Rifts, and Rogue Elephant is too bad against Astral Slide to really bother with. Alright, we're getting a good block in, I guess. Cool. Hidden Gibbons, huh? Alright, attack with just 1 Dryad. Say go, and then we're going to naturalize their Lightning Rift. I guess on their upkeep is a fine time to do that. Alright, let's see if this is good enough. The nightmare is that they have a 3rd Lightning Rift. I think that would just be kind of unlucky. Okay. Rancor. So do we start trying to play our Rancors now? I think I will. Well, that's bad against Astral Slide. So maybe now that they haven't shown us a Lightning Rift, we're going to try to stick Elvish Lyrist. And obviously they can just, like, Spark Spray her or something like this, but Wrath of God. Wrath of God, Wrath of God, yep. That's annoying. Okay. I got another Naturalize, though. I think casting another Hidden Gibbons is alright here. The obvious thing to do is just do nothing and then untap for Naturalize next turn, but we got time. We got time. And if we draw a land or a land grant, we can just do it anyway. Okay, Seal of Strength I'm not going to cast, so back to you, OP. And right now, as things stand, I don't even care about Astral Slide, so it might make sense to save our Naturalize for another potential Lightning Rift. Hidden Gibbons, number 3, is definitely awkward. I'll play it, though. And, yeah, I mean, they can always just, like, instant speed to animate all of them, and then Wrath of God, right? River Boa. Yeah, we'll go for it. We'll go for the Boa. We'll see if we get to untap with regen up. Probably not. Slice and dice. Okay. I think trading away the Seal of Strength to keep our Boa around is pretty good. Oh boy. Alright. Time for a Rancor. Now's a really good time for a Rancor. So now the clock is real. Any instants they would have had in response are going to turn on the apes. Obviously, they can do some stuff here. Okay, there's Decree of Justice. Yeah, that's kind of rough, actually. No regen for us. Yeah, just operating off of 2 lands this whole time has been rough. It's been rough. But they are so tapped out under the Winter Orb, it's not even funny. They gotta clean up. Now there's our land. Now there's our second land. It's quite a bit late to the party, one might say. So I think I'm supposed to cast a Steel of Strength here. We can naturalize next turn. We just don't have anything proactive to do, which is really frustrating while their So Shield's down. This is a super fun game, though. This is super cool. But we gotta just cast spells. We don't want to end up discarding to hand size by any means. Alright, land grant. Check out the hand, my friend. Check out the hand. Yeah, we're missing just like any creature here for way too long, unfortunately. And I am continuing until I see like a rogue elephant in my hand. I'm going to continue to hold off on the naturalize. Alright. Sky Shroud Elite resolves, so we'll go 1 Rancor and say go. We could have been very aggressive with a naturalize there, but they've got a lot of different stuff. Yeah, there's Wrath of God, sure. Maybe I should have played Elephant Guide, though, but we'll see. Lots of different things you could have done there. We draw another Elite, we'll take that for sure. Again, just 1 Rancor. We don't want to get too crazy against their Astral Slide. I don't think, because the mana costs of Rancor under Winter Orb are significant. So we're trying to keep splitting the difference here. They're pitching Eternal Dragons. Ooh, I like Kyrian Ranger a lot. Alright, let's begin with an attack. Ranger. Reset, reset. And we'll go... Okay, that's enough for the opponent. Wow, we beat Red White Rifter 2-0. That was really, really tough, but really, really fun. Let's go. And Hidden Gibbons did absolutely nothing. Bring the spear of ancient briar, bring the torch to light the pyre, bring the one who trod our ground, bring the spade to dig his mound. So reads the flavor text of Elvish Lyrist, illustrated by Rebecca Guay. With that flavor text, that art, what more do you want out of Magic the Gathering? We had some pretty decent success here, guys. All things considered, this deck is kind of interesting. Winter Orb, I think, is really, really, really important as a linchpin. If you are playing 10-land Stompy, as I mentioned in the deck tech, there are more traditional Stompy variants, but this one is actually ultra spicy and a lot better than it has any right to be, so shout out to the creator of such an archetype. I don't know how common this is or how long it's been around. I will link the exact list I used, of course, in the description below. Let me know what you guys think, as always. This was all kinds of fun. This was really all kinds of fun. Premodern is amazing, just loving it, playing all kinds of different stuff and having a good time no matter what. So, not much more to say than that. I think, everything more or less pulled its weight. Hidden Gibbons, as I mentioned right there at the end, was definitely a dead card in some situations, but I've actually, like in some warm-up games, this is what won me the game against Burn. Like, straight up. This is what wins you the game, sometimes against Dreadnought or other blue decks, right? So, it's a really good card. I don't think it performed as well as it can by any means in our games here today, which were a little bit more leaning toward the mid-rangey side of things overall. But anyway, thank you as always for joining me. Stay tuned for more content. Stay subscribed. Give us a like. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.